Hey, martial arts instructors. So if you're running an online course and you think that marketing your programs is counterproductive during this time, well, that can't be further from the truth. Here's the thing with this pandemic and its massive gut punch to the economy. It's actually your time. So let me explain this. Right now, a lot of brick and mortar businesses are starting to contract. You've got mom and pop shops who are shutting down for the duration of this quarantine. Restaurants are doing takeout orders only. Everyone's going into their shells and they're trying to ride out this storm with however much capital they have. For a martial arts instructor who's a little savvy on the business side of things, this is the perfect time to take advantage of that opening. Now, martial arts is already a tricky industry because last I checked, as a whole, even the most major players don't take up more than 5% of the market share. And that's a stat that I got from Ibis World, which is a website that does market research for a price. And those already aren't good numbers, because when your biggest players aren't taking up much more than 5% of the market share, where the hell does that leave the little guys with, So these aren't good numbers. So it's already going to be particularly brutal. It already is pretty brutal for brick and mortar businesses, for brick and mortar schools that completely shut down if they decide to contract and instead of expanding more aggressively. So this ties back into the feeding frenzy that I talked about in my last live about the online space becoming a hotbed for instructors looking to take their businesses to an online front. But with so many instructors and their schools shrinking back instead of instead of expanding, that market share is probably going to shrink even further in the meantime if there's enough martial arts schools playing defensively. Now, this isn't going to be permanent at all. We can expect the martial arts market to really start expanding again once the crisis is over, once everything settles down. But this time is also a really good time for good martial arts instructors to really get ahead in front of their ideal students, rather than letting some BS McDojo start hogging the market share even further. Now, see, I pointed out before that when I look over other martial arts sites and advertisements, it becomes a little repetitive to look at. It's kind of like a broken record. Everyone talks about the same benefits, the same features, etc., 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 because honestly, that's really all they know. I can't blame them. And chances are, because if your messaging looks similar to that of other schools, that may very well be why you've never seen much of a point in marketing your school as well. Here's exactly what I mean. So, Dr. Brian Stoops once mentioned to us that, in the eyes of the greater public, there is no hard difference in different martial arts systems. We're all MMA, we're all karate, we're all whatever the hell. But that's what makes it so important to be able to explain in your messaging what really sets you apart, what kind of results you give. Now, I get why, other, particularly the legitimate martial arts instructors might not be heavy in the marketing side of things. Teaching a martial art and marketing your school are two completely different skill sets that don't really have a lot of overlap when you put them on a Venn diagram. And that's if they have any overlap. So here's where you begin. You can start out with a clear enough picture of the kind of students you want in your school. Now, you want to get really specific with that. We're talking creepy specific, almost to the point where if you applied this in real life, people will be throwing restraining orders in your face. That's how specific you want to get. That's ideal. And, you know, if you have trouble with this, that's fine. That's not exactly a skill set many people walk into this world with, but it is mine. So you want to get into the demographics of who you want to attract. You know, are you trying to teach kids? Are you trying to teach adults? Are you, you know, anything in between? And after that, you know, what kind of problems goes through your target market's head? You know, what are they dealing with that your martial arts training can help with? And just as importantly, you know, what kind of financial bracket? Because depending on, you know, you could have a really kick-ass offer, which I'll get to in the next, maybe the next live or two, but if your offer should theoretically be a great offer, but no one in your target market is buying, guess what? There's no product market fit there. So in order to avoid this, you know, you want to get that research done. You want to figure out what goes through your target market's mind. You want to figure out what their aches and pains are. And to help with that, that's where I come in. Right now I'm running a 5-week paid program where I'll help you put together a functioning marketing system. Now, it's for you if you're an instructor who teaches legitimate Southeast Asian martial arts, you have an online course or you're building an online course, and you want to get ahead of the rest of the market while everyone else is still reeling from the pandemic's gut punch to the economy. So after you're through with this program, you should have a system that gets you results within 6 months, starting from the day you began working with me. The only catch is, because it's one-on-one, I can only work with 5 people on any given month. Now, the best part of this deal for you is, because this is a recent venture for me, I just recently rolled this program out, it's on a heavier discount than normal, which we can cover on a Zoom call. So if you're still watching and you think we can work together, then click the link in the comments in my Calendly, and let's get this ball rolling.